You lost us pretty well on the highway, Sinead admitted. Fortunately, there's only so many Franklin sites you could have been heading to. Thanks for the clue. She snatched the blacklight reader away from Dan. Now listen close. You brats are going to stay in the museum for half an hour. Give us a head start. Oh, we will be forced to tie you up. If you leave early, I promise Ted and Ned will find out about it, and they won't be happy. Her two brothers grinned evilly. Sinead turned to leave, but Amy blurted out, well, wait. Sinead raised an eyebrow. There's a man. Amy tried to say more, but the starlings were all glaring at her. She felt like she'd been submerged in ice water. Yep. There really shouldn't be a whole lot of talking for it. You just have to color it and cut it out. You can put that, once you got it colored, you can just put it on the back table over here somewhere and we'll be all good. Who is Amy trying to tell them about? The man in black. She's trying to warn them, isn't she? Yeah. She's trying to warn them, even though they're just stealing her clue. What man? Sinead asked. He's been watching us, Dan said, following us. It isn't safe to go out the main entrance. Sinead smiled. You're concerned for our safety? That's very cute, Dan. But the thing is, Sinead leaned forward in and poked him in the stomach with every word. I don't believe you. Sinead and her brothers laughed, then turned and jogged toward the main exit. Before Amy couldn't even think of what to do, a low, horrible hum shook the floor. And then, boom! Oh. Glass display cases shattered. The whole building shuddered. Amy was thrown against Dan and they were crumpled to the floor. She sat up. Her vision was fuzzy. She wasn't sure how long she stayed there, dazed. She staggered to her feet and tugged Dan's arm. Get up, she said, but she couldn't hear her own voice. What? He mouthed. So an explosion just happened. It was so loud that they can't even hear, like their ears are ringing. They can't hear what they're saying, let alone what. So they're just, it looks like they're just mouthing it to each other. She hauled him to his feet. Together they ran toward the exit. Smoke and dust filled the air. Emergency lights flashed from the fire alarms. A pile of rubble blocked the exit from the Franklin Gallery, as if part of the ceiling had collapsed. On the floor, near Amy's feet, lay the shattered black light reader and Sinead's cell phone. And there was no sign of the starlings at all. Remember, they were just running out when that explosion happened. And it was like just then. I don't know if they got out. We'll find out here in a second. Chapter 9. Dan decided that explosions were cool, but not if you were in one. Ooh, can you imagine? Nellie is outside. And there was just an explosion in the building that her kids are in. Like the kid she's watching. Nellie just saw that. The whole way to Inman's Hall, Amy cradled Saladin's cat carrier like it was her life preserver. Nellie yelled at them for being so reckless. Dan's hearing was so messed up, she sounded like she was talking from the bottom of a fish tank. I can't believe this, Nellie said. A real bomb. I thought you were joking. Amy wiped her eyes. The starlings, maybe they're okay, Dan said, but it sounded lame even to him. They hadn't stuck around for the police to arrive. They'd been so scared they simply fled. So Dan had no idea what happened to the triplets. He didn't figure it was a good sign that they found Sinead's cell phone next to a whole section of collapsed roof. Nellie yanked the wheel and they turned onto 6th Street. You guys, this is serious. Somebody tried to kill you. I can't babysit you if... pair us, Dan corrected her. Whatever. She pulled the car in front of Independence Hall. The sun was going down, and in the evening light, the place looked exactly like it did in the school photos. A 2-story brick building with a big white clock tower, surrounded by trees and flower beds. A statue of some revolutionary dude stood out front. The hall didn't look all that impressive compared to the huge modern buildings around it, but back in the day, Dan guessed it was probably the biggest place in town. He could imagine Franklin and all of his friends with powdered wigs and 3-cornered hats gathering on the steps to talk about the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, or maybe Ben's latest proposal for studying farts. The whole scene made Dan think about American history tests, which were almost as scary as exploding museums. Look, guys, Nellie said, the deal's off. Whatever you gotten yourself into, this is way too dangerous for a couple of kids. I'm going to take you back to your aunt. No, Dan said. Nellie, you can't. He stopped himself, but Nellie's blue glitter shaded eyes narrowed. She'll what? Dan glanced at Amy, hoping for help, but she was still in shock, just staring out the window. Nothing, Dan said. Nellie, this is important. Please, just wait for us. Nellie fumed. I've got like 6 more songs in my playlist, okay? If you're not back in the car when the last song is over and ready to explain things to me honestly, I am so calling Beatrice. You got it, Dan promised, but he tried to push Amy out of the car, but she must have still been shocked because she held on to Saladin's cat carrier. What are you doing? Dan asked. Leave him here. No. Amy fumbled to cover the carrier with the blanket. We need to take him. Dan didn't know why, but he decided not to argue. They hurried along the sidewalk. They were halfway up the steps of Independence Hall when Dan realized the place was closed for the night. How do we get in? Children, a voice called, over here. William McIntyre, remember that's where they're supposed to meet Mr. McIntyre? That's why they're at Independence Hall. Remember it said meet me at 8 p.m. if you have the information? Do they have the information? Yeah. They do. They found the secret writing, right? Was leaning against the half hidden behind a rose bush. Amy ran over and gave the old lawyer a hug, which seemed to embarrass him. He had a bandage on his left hand and a cut below his right eye, but other than that, he looked pretty good for a guy who'd just been gotten out of the hospital. I'm glad you're safe, he said. I heard about the Franklin Institute on the news. I assume you were there? It was horrible, Amy said. She told him everything, from the secret library in Grace's mansion right up to the man in black in the museum and the Starling triplets going kaboom. Mr. McIntyre frowned. I do need to read this like 3 lines. I called Jefferson University Hospital. The Starlings will survive, but they're in bad shape. They will be recovering for months, which puts them out of the race permanently, I fear. Lance, the cups are only for drinking. If you're going to use it to just stick stuff on your face, you won't have one. And that's where we stop. Okay,